So, let's talk about Tulum. You've seen the pictures, right? That incredible, picture-perfect coastline. But behind those stunning views, a real tension has been brewing for years. Who actually gets to set foot on these world-famous beaches?
And really, it all boils down to this one question. What does happen when a beach that's supposed to be for everyone isn't? It sounds like a simple question, but in a place like Tulum, a tourist hotspot that's just exploded in popularity, the answer gets really complicated really fast.
This quote right here from a local vendor, it just gets right to the heart of the whole thing. This was never just about a path to the water. It's about a fundamental feeling of fairness, of just belonging, and a place that's being completely reshaped by all these big economic forces.
So, how did things get to this point? I mean, this problem didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the result of years and years of just explosive growth right along Tulum's coast.
Here's the core issue. As Tulum's reputation grew, so did the construction. Hotels, beach clubs, private villas, they all started popping up right on the shoreline, basically building a wall between the public and the beach itself. And when you break it down, you can really see how a community gets squeezed out. New buildings literally just gobble up the shoreline. Those little paths that people have used for generations, gone, just vanished. And of course, that creates this deep sense of displacement for locals and becomes this constant source of tension. It's a classic story, really, development versus community, and you could just feel the pressure building and building.
But, when you squeeze something for that long, eventually something's gotta give. And after years of this pressure building up, we finally saw a major shift, and it was driven directly by all that community pressure.
And this was the turning point. Officials stepped up and announced a brand new policy creating something called accesos libres, which literally means free access points. For the community that had been fighting this fight for so long, this was a huge win.
So what exactly are these accesos libres? Well, it's actually part of a national policy that's now being put into action in Tulum. And its whole purpose is to guarantee permanent, free public pathways to all of the nation's beaches. The key word there is guarantee. This makes public access an official right, not just a suggestion. And this quote from Governor Mara Lezama just sums up the whole philosophical shift perfectly. A right, not a privilege. It completely reframes the debate. It's not about developers doing you a favor anymore, it's about a fundamental right that belongs to everyone.
And this isn't just some empty promise on a piece of paper. We're talking about real, concrete action. The policy guarantees 2 permanent corridors right inside the new Parque del Jaguar, and they're going to be open every single day, all year, for everybody. And maybe most importantly for the locals, that main traditional path they've always used, it's now officially and permanently free.
Okay, so that's the policy. But what does it actually look like when you're there, on the ground? How are you, as a visitor, actually going to experience this new setup?
Well, the government set up a pretty clever 2-track system. If all you want to do is get to the beach, put your toes in the sand, you just take the free corridor. No cost, no hassle, simple. But if you want the full park experience, the museum, the viewing tower, the trails, you can choose to buy a ticket for that. It's a great way to balance that essential public access with a way to help fund conservation. And to make sure there's absolutely zero confusion about this, they're installing 20 new signs. Now, that number might seem small, but it represents something really powerful. It's proof that this policy isn't just talk. It's a visible, physical change designed to make public access crystal clear and undeniable. And really, it's a total upgrade of the entire visitor experience. We're talking new signs starting way back on the main highway, cleaner and easier pathways to walk, surveillance points for safety, and even posted environmental rules. The goal here is to create an orderly, safe, and sustainable way for everyone to enjoy the coast.
All right, so let's zoom out a bit, because this policy isn't happening in a bubble. It's taking place right in the middle of a massive, sweeping transformation of the entire Tulum region.
I mean, just look at this timeline. You've got a brand new international airport. You've got the massive Tren Maya project. Both of these are designed to bring an unprecedented number of new tourists to the area. So this beach access policy, it's not just a nice idea, it's an absolutely necessary response to try and manage all that pressure before it just boils over. And the coming high season, that's going to be the first real test.
And this table really shows you why it's such a tough puzzle to solve. You have local residents who just want fair access and to make a living. You have the tourism industry, which is all about growth and profit. Then you've got conservationists trying to protect the fragile ecosystem, and the government is stuck in the middle, trying to keep everyone happy. It's the ultimate balancing act.
At the end of the day, this is about so much more than a couple of paths to the beach. It's really a crucial test for the future of Tulum itself. And honestly, it's a story playing out in beautiful places all over the globe. How do you hold on to who you are and keep your public spaces public when the whole world wants to visit?
But when you strip away all the policies and the politics and the big picture challenges, you're left with this simple, powerful idea from an elderly artisan. For the people who've lived there their entire lives, this is about feeling at home again, in a place that was starting to feel like it didn't belong to them anymore.
Which, of course, brings us to the big, final question. The policy is now in place, the signs are going up, but with more and more tourists coming every year, the biggest challenge is still on the horizon. Can this new promise of free, open beaches actually hold up against that unstoppable wave of growth? That is the question Tulum now has to answer.